My name is Jocelyn Tellis, and today I'll be talking about women empowerment in Afghanistan. My main focus is to show that Afghan women are progressing. They are now taking more active roles in what is going on in their lives. What I basically want to do with this talk is try to change a little of our Western views of how we depict Afghan women. Western view is basically depicting Afghan women as helpless, poor individuals that are in dire need of help. And I'm not saying this is wrong or incorrect. Afghan women have been victims to some very crucial crimes, but I don't think that because they have been victims in the past, they will always stay victims. And I think that they are doing a great job to show that they are a great example of being victims, but not letting that control your lives. They were victims in the past, but nowadays they are becoming women activists. They are taking a bigger role in government, which nobody would have ever thought that would happen, but it's happening. And more and more women are being educated every day. And I just think that shows how much women have grown from the past years and how much they are growing now. I think that they are a great example of just overall women and how much power we actually have and how strong women are, especially Afghan women. After everything they've been through, they still find the strength and the motivation to keep fighting for what they want. And in my two articles that I will be explaining today, it is basically they are fighting for their rights and they are fighting for their equality. One of my articles shows how women in Iran went through this whole education movement. They were refused education for their children, but they did not let that stop them, and they did not let that keep their children from being educated. Instead, what they did, they became women activists. They started organizing themselves and getting together to form their own educational movement, and in the end they ended up renting schools after hours to educate their own children. And women took the time for free to get together and to make sure that Afghan children had a place to learn, that their education wasn't just stunned, that they also had the right to learn and be educated just as much as everybody else. And in the end, this education movement ended up helping thousands of children, hundreds of adults, and even men. In my other article, it shows Afghan women, over 300, marching to the capital in Kabul and protesting against a recent law that was passed where they are basically not allowed to say no to their husbands if their husbands want to have sex with them, basically treating them as property, and they were not for it. So they marched to the capital with signs and banners protesting that they want equality and they want their rights. And this is a huge step for women, especially because they aren't really allowed to be going out in public, let alone going against a law, their government. And it was shown because they were mobbed by men. Men were yelling at them whores and all this kind of stuff. But they didn't let that stop them. They kept marching 2 miles to get to the capital and make their views known. And I think that couldn't be a bigger example of how women nowadays are just growing, and they aren't letting their circumstance and their basically they're not letting men and their own country bring them down anymore. They are fighting for what they believe, and I believe they will get there. I believe that maybe not anytime soon they will be equals, but they have taken a big step in the right direction, and I don't think they are willing to go back. For now, that is all I have to talk about, but there will be more. And that is the end of my talk for now. Thank you.